If there was one last thing that I would say to Kenya.
If I could say one last thing to Kenya.
If I could say one last thing to Kenya.
If I could have one last moment.
If I could tell her one last thing.
If I can say one last thing to Kenya, what would it be? It would be, you are an amazing person, period. You are an amazing choreographer. You are gifted. And you are loved. I don't feel like I said that enough when she was here. And I'm making it a point to do that now going forward.
I would say the biggest memory is that we organize a lot of different leaders in the African American dance community here, and it was something that we had talked about for a long time, and it goes back to me not being educated in the spiritual liturgical world, and I'm like, we both breathe the same rhythms in dance. It's all how you do it. So we felt that it was important to bring all of these people in Atlanta together who practically have been here forever, but never got a chance to really say, hey, very nice to meet you. My name is, you know what I mean? So I thought that was super profound, and I think we were nervous too, because I'm like, what if a fight really breaks out? What if people don't like each other? But what we've discovered is that people were interested in just learning and starting to build collaboration. And I just thought that was really beautiful, and that's something that I want to continue to carry on within her legacy, you know, building community and investing in collaboration. Because when I think of Kenya, she was a true collaborator, and she attended everybody's shows, and she did like, look, whatever you need for me to do, I'm there. And I feel like she did it with grace. She never complained, you know, even when she was going through everything, you never knew. You know, she said, I'm going to be there. The fact that she would travel to New York to see me perform, but just see other people around the world in her condition, just shows you that she was a fighter.
When I think about Kenya, I think about excellence. I think about dance. I think about choreographer. I think about teacher. I think about mentor. I think that there's just a higher level of dance that I had never seen before until I met her. I feel like I've been a dancer my whole life, but I did not reach that kind of level of dance until I was a member of Amazing Grace.
I think I will always remember when I had to have my first major surgery, and when I came out of it, literally, I haven't even gotten to a room yet. I was still just in the recovery room, and just to see her walk through the door just meant so much for me. You know, just knowing that she cared, you know, for you outside of the studio, just as a person, as a friend, and I would just never forget that. Just her coming, being there for me, and loving on me during that difficult time that I had went through. And I would just always remember that. I love you, Kenya, and I miss you so much.
I look at her as a beam of light that just shined, and my energy just drew closer to her because she was just so luminous. And every time I just imagine her dancing, I just see her just beautifully moving and light shining from God upon her.
Wow. That's a tough one. Well, I would first start by saying that, Kenya, I love you with all my heart. I want to thank you for allowing an older, out-of-tune dancer become part of your ministry and be able to do things that I never thought I would ever do, go to places I never thought that I would ever go, push me, even if I didn't want to be pushed, push me to become a better dancer. make me laugh in times when I didn't want to laugh, with things going on outside of Amazing Grace, but coming into that space and it being a safe space, a space to dance, cry, and laugh. I want to thank you for doing that. I want to thank you with all my heart for having this group to allow me to meet, minister, and become great friends with other women and men in the Atlanta area that I probably never would have gotten a chance to, who will become my lifelong friends, are my lifelong friends, my sisters and my brothers. And I just want to thank you for creating a company and creating a genre of dance that is not seen very often, but is more amazing than anything else that I've seen. I just want to thank you for being you.
The level of excellence that she expected was, again, truly admirable, but most of all, it was like I was so energized by her. She gave me the energy that I needed. When I thought I didn't have a lot of energy, she somehow pulled it out of me. I'm a little older in age, I won't say my age, but in any case, I really always doubted myself. I'm also kind of the thicker side of things as far as in my body type, and none of that mattered to her. She saw something in me, and when she saw that kind of die out of me, I could tell it kind of made her wanting to pull, but not pull too much from me at that time. And this is after I joined the company. Once I joined the company, which I could not believe it, that day sticks out in my mind. It was hard. Oh, that audition was nothing to play with. But I looked up to her so much for so many years. I didn't want to disappoint her because she had an expectation, but she also, like I said, she just pulled so much out of you, and you knew that it wasn't just what she was asking out of you, it was something that she was going to give as well. So she gave what she expected.
All right, I'm Shaniqua Yaskanyers, but everyone calls me Nikki. This is Nyla, Kenya's goddaughter. And when I think of Kenya, the first word that would come to my mind would be family. I've known Ken for my entire life since birth, and it's been hard. I'm my only child on my mom's side, and so she's played the part of my big sis my entire life. She's always been there. So to not be able to call her is definitely been a struggle. We've been through a lot since the beginning days when she forced me to dance with her, to the creation of Amazing Grace and me going behind the scenes and, just working together. She's always treated me, like I was her equal, never trying to be, above me or anything. She's very humble. Ken. Family, love, an inspiration. The thing she's accomplished with Amazing Grace is phenomenal. It's been a long journey, a long road, and I know she's touched the hearts of a lot of people. Most groups, they imitate her now at this point. So, but it goes way past AG for me. Her family has taken me in. We took her in. Her and my mom, they were like best friends. She's, like I said, she's Nyla's godmom. She's been there through everything, every milestone that I have gone through in my life. She's been there, right there by my side, from first communion to giving birth to this one.
The time that I was with Amazing Grace Dance Company under Kenya's leadership, I was in the middle of graduate school. I had so much going on in my life. But when we would dance together, it was the most freeing experience that I have ever experienced.
I think we were a lot closer over the last 10 years than anyone has ever thought we were. She started calling me her god sister. She supported me through so much in my personal life, in my business. She supported me through dance. She pushed me when I didn't believe in myself. And she's just been nothing shy of amazing to me. I love her and I miss her.
I think of Kenya Griffin. Immediately, ad-lib queen. I didn't know how to ad-lib before I made it to Amazing Grace. So just having her say, oh, well, these 8 counts are yours to kind of move, and then kind of taking that on myself, that was a big deal. And it was definitely something I learned from her. But I also see her as the most fierce leader. She was fierce in every way. A fierce leader, a fierce dancer, just her personality, you know, was so strong, and she was so determined in everything she did. She's a true creative. There's so many words that describe Kenya, but she just dared to be great in everything she did. One moment that stands out was a more personal moment because I asked Amazing Grace to dance at my wedding in 2013. And they graciously accepted, and Kenya, of course, choreographed and, you know, did a wonderful job, you know, making it special for me. But what I remember most is that right before I walked down the aisle, she was the last dancer to leave the aisle. And I just saw her beautiful smile and her hands welcoming me down the aisle. And I don't know why, it just touched my heart and touched my spirit so much. And so it's one of my favorite memories of her. Another memory that kind of sticks out in my mind, it kind of goes back to that ad-lib queen thought I had, was she, I think, was dancing at her grandmother's funeral. And this was years ago, and she was doing a solo to Dear God. And I remember thinking how beautiful her movements were, how she was able to resonate with movement so well and so smoothly, and she was so gifted. In that moment, I just saw her genius. And it was one of the moments that I knew that I was under the leadership of someone so special.
Relationship went from dancer and, you know, to an amazing friend. I mean, we had a great relationship outside of the studio. I mean, there were days when we would just, you know, she would just be at the studio and I'd just show up and we'd just sit there and talk. And, you know, one thing I really admired about her was her ability to always take care of and check on people. She was one of those people that really took what you were experiencing as her own and made to make sure that you were okay. She'd check on you. She'd, you know, follow up with you. She made sure that you were okay. There was always such a great dichotomy that she had of being faithful to the church, being, you know, a true amazing choreographer. I mean, just fantastic and inspired and, you know, like fearless, to being able to perform, you know, just completely elegantly, and to lead. And then there comes another portion of her when we're not performing and we're hanging out as friends, as people, as confidants, as a group of women at the time that just enjoyed each other's company. And she was able to also be a leader, but a friend in those moments. So the dichotomy of her being able to do that at any level, at all times, was pretty remarkable. And that just goes to show her leadership qualities and how missed she will be. She's just like, I don't know what Amazing Grace will, what legacy will, or what will come from Amazing Grace, no, but she's surely the heart and soul of it. And it's going to be tough to fill her shoes. And there's no filling because she created it, right? And I miss her so much. I just can't believe she's gone. But I know she's with us, and I've been thinking since her passing that she essentially went out on her terms. She was never one to follow. She was always one to stay ahead of the curve and to be not necessarily first, but to be a trendsetter. She's her own trend. She's one of those people that can wear palazzo pants, a big t-shirt, and some stilettos and make it look like, an amazing Fashion Week debut for some designer. So she was always a trendsetter in that way. And because of that, she lived her life the way she wanted to, and she went out the way she wanted to. I mean, her 2 years of suffering and pain, she did not want that, and that's the solace that I keep with me. The solace knowing that that's not how she wanted to live, and she would prefer to do it her own way. And so I miss her terribly. I take great comfort knowing that my last words to her and from her to me were that we loved each other. And to have said that and for her to have known that in the living is very important to me, and I will hold on to that and treasure that forever.
And the thing I remember most about Kenya when I think of her is Scotch tape. And the reason why I say that is because my first year with the company, I was a dancer and I used to always hold my hands like this. And she would say, Katanya, why do you have your hands like that? And so she would tape my fingers together so that I could learn how to hold my hands correctly when we dance. So that was hilarious to me. But Kenya's always been like a big sister, and she is amazingly creative. Like Kenya could hear parts of the song that nobody else could hear. And so I appreciate her so much because she taught me to listen to music and how to dance from what we feel versus, listening to those little parts of the song and just bringing those things to life.
She's taught me a lot, and she's definitely taught me how to be strong. And to really continue to go after my passion, even when I feel like nobody's supporting me or anything like that. I always knew she was. Even when we didn't talk for a while, she would always message me exactly when I needed her, and it was like, well, how did you know I was even like? And then the connection she has with my mom was always good as well. So she's like a family member, was like a family member to me. One of the fondest ones, the recent ones, is when we performed at this event, and she had her oxygen tank with her, and we were ministering, I believe it was Shower Down, and she took her oxygen thing off and got on stage and just started dancing, and it was like, wow, like, you are the true definition of a fighter, like strong, out here ministering, and can't even tell the difference, and that's always stuck with me. And this was just last year. So yeah, that's one of my most favorite memories I have of Kenya.
She just had probably some of the best strength I've ever seen, anybody have. She displayed so much strength through just everything. And she just had this vision that she wanted to take dancing in the church to a higher level, and to show that if we're serving God and ministering to his people, that it should be done in excellence. And she was so true to that, and she instilled that in all of her members, and then took it even further and brought it to the community and brought it to other churches, to show them how to dance in that excellence in the church as well.
It's just hard to believe that someone with such a big spirit and such a big personality is no longer with us. And I have not said goodbye, because one, is so hard, but two, because her and I talk every day still. So as if she still is very much present with me. So I guess in my heart, I'm like, why say goodbye to someone who's still I miss my friend. I miss my sister dearly.